there are 4 different stages that everybody will have to experience. It looks to me that you cannot skip these stages. So if you're in stage 1, you can move to stage 2, then stage 3, then stage 4. The last stage is usually the best, but you can't skip 1, 2, 3. Hello, good day. It's a fabulous day from my hand here. And I'm so excited on this podcast because the episode we're dealing with today is something that is going to be a blessing to you because you already have it in you. All I'm trying to help you to do is to see what you already have. In fact, in most cases, when we're talking about purpose, gifts, talents, abilities, we're not talking about something that will be manufactured or created in the future. We are talking about something that the Creator, in His magnificence, in His generosity, our Heavenly Father has given to every member of the human race. In other words, some of them you are born with, some of them you are going to learn, when it comes to purpose. Some of them you're just going to have somebody help you to see what you haven't seen before. And so that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. So let's get into it. And if you want to take your note, grab a pen and a paper or your iPad or your laptop or your phone, and let's get started. All right? Again, my name is Sam Ore, and here on this podcast, we talk about everything that has to do with purpose. So when it comes to your purpose and your gifts and your talents and your abilities in life, we have found out that even psychologists have played some major role. And shout out to these brilliant, uncommon human beings that have put names or descriptions, as it were, into something or label into something that the Creator has already created. So I keep saying to people that there is nothing new under the sun. There is nothing that anybody wants to create anymore that has not been created. In fact, I always tell people that the word inventor actually should be replaced with discoverer, because God created everything. I don't think anybody's inventing anything. I get it when they say inventor, but the appropriate word would be discoverer, because we're only discovering what is. All right? So let's get at it, because these psychologists and these brilliant professors have come up with some labels to describe what God has already created. Now, they believe that there are 4 stages of competence when it comes to your abilities, when it comes to your gifts, when it comes to your talents. There are 4 different stages that everybody will have to experience. It looks to me that you cannot skip these stages. So if you're in stage 1, you can move to stage 2, then stage 3, then stage 4. The last stage is usually the best, but you can't skip 1, 2, 3. They are all kind of work together, and it's a beautiful experience. In fact, by the time I'm explaining them, you will agree with me that, oh my God, this sounds familiar. But it's good to know so that you can be intentional and be deliberate in your maximizing these particular stages. Now, it doesn't matter which stage you are, it's not too late. Again, if you're 70-year-old or 80-year-old, or 9-year-old or 7-year-old, you can do it. Okay? So these psychologists came up with the concept of these 4 stages of the human development, which illustrates the different levels of proficiency. And so the exact date and the exact time when these things were discovered is still unknown. But some have attributed what I'm about to discuss with us to one of these brilliant American psychologists named Abraham Maslow, who was a professor at the time at Cornell University and Columbia. So it's more like an academic work, but I'm trying to simplify it so that it doesn't get complicated. Please just pay attention. They believe that there is what is known as unconscious incompetence. This has to do with when you're unconscious of your incompetence in a particular area, when it comes to your skills, your abilities, or your talents, or your gifts. Every human will go through that stage. And this unconscious incompetence is a stage where you are neither, in understanding, or what you can effectively do. In other words, you do not even have an idea. You don't understand, and you don't know how to effectively do anything. And you cannot recognize that shortfall. Because if you cannot recognize that you are incompetent, you cannot even address it. There's no point trying to do better. This is like a childhood innocence where a child does not know that anything exists, because it's still coming around with this blank slate, so to speak. So this is the stage that everybody will have to go through, especially if you're born to this world normally. There's a stage in your life, and even if you may be an old person, it doesn't matter. There's a time in your life when you are like, okay, I don't even know that, something exists, let alone try to do that thing. So it is a complete state of innocence, okay? It is called the stage of unconscious incompetence. In other words, you are not competent in something, and you don't even know that you're not competent. Does that make sense? Does that sound familiar? You may need to rewind this and watch it again until you get it. Now, the second stage is known as conscious incompetence. Conscious incompetence. Now, you have graduated from the first stage into now knowing that there is a skill that you have, or there is a talent that you have, and there is an ability that you have, but you have a conscious incompetence in that. In other words, the stage where people neither understand nor know how to do something. In other words, you don't know how to do this particular thing, but you know that thing exists. So, for example, you might be given a car to drive. So you know there's a car. You know there's something called driving. But you have progressed from not knowing there's a car. You have progressed from not knowing that there is something called drive. But this time around, you just don't know how to do it. So you are not competent in it. So in the first stage, you don't even know there's anything called a car. You don't know anything that's called driving. So that is the stage of unconscious incompetence when it comes to your gift. In other words, you have no idea that you have a gift. You have no idea that you have any talent. So it's even relevant for anybody to say you should learn how to use it. But this time around, you know that there is a gift, so to speak. You are incompetent, and you know that you are incompetent. Does that make sense? So let me have your comment in the comment section if you're getting this. Again, I don't want this to sound too academic. That's why I'm trying to slow down and break it down with examples. So let us say that you are gifted to do something. So that is conscious reality. Okay? But you know also that you are not competent in that thing. Then that's why it becomes conscious incompetence. You know your weakness, as it were, when it comes to that gift. Even though you know that you are gifted, you know that you are talented in this area, but you are also aware of your incompetence. Does that make sense? So that we move to the next one. All right. Now, the third one is conscious competence. You see the progress. This is making more sense now, and it's becoming more beautiful. Now, when it comes to your gift, when it comes to your talents, when it comes to your abilities in life, when it comes to your skill and the grace of God for your life, you know that you are competent in this particular area, and you are conscious of it at the same time. So this is where the boldness begins to increase. And people who don't know all the stages you have mastered to come to this place maybe even misunderstand you and think you are arrogant or you are proud. But it's not about pride. It's about confidence. It's about the fact that you know that you can do this thing. Let me give you an example. So you are given a car to drive. You know the car exists. You know driving exists. And you know you have the ability to drive that car. And you are conscious of that, your ability. That is conscious competence. In other words, but of course, at the end of the day, even though you have the competence to drive it, but you are conscious of it, it simply means that you cannot afford to be distracted. You have to stay focused. You are confident. You are confident, and you are competent, but you are also conscious of the fact that you have to stay focused and avoid distraction. That is the level of conscious competence. Okay. Now the final one, which is the best part of this whole thing, is what is called unconscious competence. Oh my goodness. Let me say that again. Unconscious competence. Now, this terminology sounds similar, except you are paying attention to know the differences and the dichotomies between all of them. Unconscious competence. That's the best place to be. Why did you say that? It is because it is the stage where you know you are competent with something and you can actually do that thing proficiently, unconsciously. Let me say it again. You are very, very good at something. You are very, very, you have mastered this particular talents or gifts or ability to a point that you can almost do it unconsciously. In other words, that's when people say, if they wake me up in the middle of the night, I can sing. If they wake me up in the middle of the night, I can preach. If they wake me up in the middle of the night while I'm still, snoring, while I'm still, sleep talking, if I have a little bit of time, or a microphone or Bible, I can preach or I can sing. If you're a singer or you're a preacher, or you're an editor, or you are, a videographer or a photographer, that is the level that everybody should operate in when it comes to their gifts and their skills and their talents and the grace of God. The level of unconscious competence. It's the final stage when you have practiced or mastered a particular skill so much that it has become second nature and can be performed easily without much attention to it. Now, if you're a driver by profession, for instance, that is the stage you get to where you're not paying attention to road signs and traffic anymore. I mean, it's not advisable. In other words, you can almost drive for 1 hour, 2 hours to a place you have been to over and over again without even looking at Google Map or your app, because you have mastered driving to that point. In fact, when you can multitask. Now, women are very good with this. For example, my wife, she can multitask and do many things at the same time. Because she loves to take care of people, including her husband and her children. Praise God. So she's cooking for us, making sure that everybody in the family is taken care of, and she's watching, TV at the same time, or she's singing at the same time, or she's doing some other things at the same time while cooking. And by the time she's done, the food is so delicious. She's probably the best cook in the world, in my opinion. Even though she's doing so many things at the same time, because cooking for her, or taking care of her family by cooking healthy, delicious food, has become second nature for her, to a point where we can say she's doing that at the level of unconscious competence. That is the best place to be. This is the stage where you and the expression of your core gifts cannot be separated. It is the level where you become one with your main intelligence after years of consistent faithfulness. Oh my goodness. It's my prayer that everybody will get to this stage where You don't struggle to use your gift. You don't struggle to use your talents. You don't struggle to use your abilities in the name of Jesus. So this last stage, that is unconscious competence, is the best place to be with reference to your skills and purpose in life. A place where the use of your gifts and the fulfillment of your destiny have become second nature. It looks like you're not even doing anything. And people who don't know who you are or who don't know the grace of God upon your life will even think that you are lazy because it doesn't look like you are doing anything. Because you have mastered that skill and talent so much that it doesn't look like you are working. Now, being unconsciously competent in your divine purpose shows you have developed and mastered your personal brand to a point that success comes to you naturally. This is so beautiful. And you can give so many examples. In fact, as I'm talking right now, if you are paying attention, you already know that, oh my God, and now I got it. So sometimes I drive to work and I don't even know when I got there because I was probably talking on the phone or, singing or praying or listening to the radio. And I'm like, here I am in the office because you're not driving at an unconscious, competent level. And the same thing applies to other areas of life when it comes to your gifts, your talents, and your skills. That is why the 3D course model that Samurai Global Empowerment does is very important because we help people to discover their gifts or their talents or their abilities. Then we help them to develop it or develop them, as the case may be, if you're multi-gifted. And we also help them to deploy. That is the place of execution. So 3D, discover, develop, and deploy. But the best place to be in all of these stages of competence is the stage of unconscious competence, when your gifts and your talents and your abilities are deployed to fulfill God's purpose. Remember, only one purpose, all of us have only one purpose, and that is to be a blessing to humanity as we glorify God. That is the place to be when you begin to operate your gifts or deploy your gifts and your talents and your abilities without sounding like you are really working, because you enjoy doing it and you love to do it, and you're doing it with ease and dexterity. All right? So next time we're going to get deeper. I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, I want to please give a thumbs up, send comments to us. Let us know where you're journeying from all over the world. Tell us about your country and share this with your people in your circle of influence, and subscribe if you have not done so, and make sure that you engage us. Again, my name is Sam Ore, and I'm your host on this podcast. Thank you, and I love you.